Hey guys, welcome to another lesson at Pro Teaches Noob. Today I have, once again, Bianca.
Hey.
And can you tell people how our last story went with Batman in Darkest Night?
No, because it was so bad. I don't even want to talk about it.
Well, let's instead see how well Superman, if he landed in Gotham, turns out. This is a great story. Superman speeding bullets. And it probably helps that you have JM DeMatteis doing a writer who is very much character centric. And
I
the
feel like
late
I've seen his name before.
Oh, you've seen him everywhere. He's the one who he was one of the writers on the as far as on this show. He was some of the writers on Hero Square, the Bwahaha
Hmm.
Super Buddies,
I
just the Justice League. Yeah, he's
was
worked on.
drinking water, but I was saying yes.
So yeah, let's see how well he handles this concept. Now, much like the Batman and Dark Knight, this is a short book, but let's see how much he can do with the time he has. We see Superman, the baby Kal-El being sent from Krypton, but here he lands in Gotham, found by Thomas Wayne. What is it? I know it sounds crazy, but it looks like some kind of rocket. And wait a minute, I think there's something inside. What is it? You're not going to believe this, but there's a baby, our baby. Excuse me, Dr. Wayne, Mrs. Wayne, but if this means we won't be continuing our journey upstate to the governor's campaign dinner, perhaps I should shut off the car. Gasoline is quite expensive, and money doesn't grow on trees, you know. Alfred, you never cease to amaze me. The way it was meant to happen. That's what they think. As we find out that, yeah, he grew up with them a little sheltered. It's like Martha loved the social world life in Gotham, but she knew as clearly as Thomas did that the days of party going and charity balls were over. Wayne Manor was their universe now. And that's where they, and they alone, would raise their strange and wonderful child. She knew Thomas had his theories about what they began calling the event. He filled his journals with ideas about where the child had come from and why. But for her, things were far simpler. He's my son, Alfred, she told the loyal servant. As surely as if I'd given birth to him, he's my son, and that's all that matters. Yes, she indulged him. Without Thomas as a counterbalance, Bruce might have grown to be the single most spoiled child on earth. But Martha was also cultivated his heart, taught him respect for all people, regardless of social class or race, nurtured him with an unconditional love that shaped his soul as surely as Thomas shaped his mind. Dr. Wayne revered the intellect, perhaps to the detriment of his heart, but he was a kind of compassionate man, despite emotional reserve. He intuitively understood the power of this star child. So quick, so agile, never a bruise or a broken bone. But he was more concerned with testing Bruce's mental limits than his physical ones. The cowards and bullies use violence, he told his son, but you, of all who live, must aspire to something better, something higher. It was a sheltered existence for all of them. Few outsiders were allowed over the castle walls, and Bruce, for all the attention his parents gave him, sometimes slipped into a deep, almost inexpressive loneliness. That's why he turned to Alfred. Nanny, camp counselor, and best friend rolled into one. They'd walk the grounds for hours, talking about everything under the sun. But whatever the family gave to Bruce, all of them would agree that he gave them more to them in return. For there was something almost magical about the boy, a quality of being that seemed to touch and transform everyone around him, as if his very presence brought out the best in them. But then one day after they went to go to the movies, well, Martha and the infamous moment happened as they got gunned down, both of them, and he starts to cry. And hey, don't cry, little guy. I hate it when kids cry. And he actually shoots him,
Bruh.
but did nothing. And I hate you. Ah, ah, ah! Mother, father, make it stop. Oh, please, oh God, make it stop. They
It's
found
what you get.
Jojo the next morning, face down in an alley, dead, body burned almost beyond recognition. They found Bruce Wayne that night, eyes wide and unseeing, covered in his parents' blood. Like a zombie, one of the police officers said. I mean, he didn't even know we were there. Poor kid kept saying the same thing over and over. The bullets, the bullets, the bullets. As we then see him grow up completely sheltered. Um, He knew there was nothing he could have done. He was only 9 years old. How could he have possibly have saved them? But the guilt and shame remain. Breakfast is served. Thank you, Alfred. Honestly, sir, breakfast at 9 p.m., wandering the house like a ghost all night, sleeping through all through the day. A vital young man of 21 should be out in the world having experiences. We go through this every night. Don't you get tired of it? No, sir, I don't. And that's what I love about you, Alfred. You're the most tenacious old man on earth. Considering I'm the only old man you know, you really can't be sure, can you? Alfred, I blame myself, of course. I tried my best to encourage you, to be the kind of parent your mother and father would have wanted me to. And you were Alfred, you are. But, sir, you hide away here like some recluse. The papers call you Gotham's answer to Howard Hughes. The papers. Look at the papers, Alfred. Look at the world and the world you're so desperate for me to interact with. Nothing but blood and madness. Nothing but violence and death. I hate it. Lucifer comes to Gotham. 1 year after near-fatal accident, Fame Industrial emerges from seclusion. He did hate it with all his soul, but with all of his soul, he needed it. Soon, though, eventually, he starts seeing all this stuff that's been going on in Gotham, and it just tortures him until eventually some thugs try to break in. Okay, Wayne, take it nice and easy. And the old man stays in one piece. What are you doing in my house? How dare you come in here and didn't you hear what I said? Shut your frickin' mouth or Jeeps here is history. Animals. Hey, you thinking what? You think I'm kidding? You think I won't? Stinking, murdering animals. He grabs the gun, knocks one guy out. That's it, you son of a. You can't kill me. The bullets can't hurt me. Nothing can hurt me. But I can hurt you. Just like I hurt the other one. Just like I hurt. He's about ready to do the same thing, but he stops instead and just shoots it right into the fire. The other one. Oh my God. Oh my God. I remember! My parents. I could have saved them. Alfred. What am I? I believe the answer is down here as he finally takes him down to show him what he is. And then, like, there's my answer, Alfred. Up there, whirling in the darkness. Can you see them? Can you see my brothers? No, of course you can't. But I can. I see things, hear things that no one else can. I can spread my wings and fly through the shadows of the night. There's so much I can do that I've never let myself known I can do. I've hidden so much of my own power from myself as punishment for that little boy's crimes. But I'm not punishing myself anymore, Alfred. I know myself at last. Meanwhile, those thugs go over to them and to the person who was helping, who hired them there, told them what happened, and kills them. What's the matter, boys? All choked up? Meanwhile, we see this one guy, this mad gunner. He had expressed six innocent people, two of them policemen, into the hospital. He was a man in desperate need of help, but before anyone could reach out a compassionate hand, he had to be stopped. I don't know what kind of crazy uniform that is, but if you cops think you can scare me, you're okay. You got some kind of fling and fancy flak jacket, but ain't gonna stop this. This baby will blow us both from here to. You want it? You got it. Reports on the ground. We don't know if he threw him or he jumped, but he then grabs him, tosses him, and sends him down. Jaws were dropping. Cameras were clicking. No one was sure just what it was they had seen, but they all seemed to sense that something had happened that would change everything. We then find out that Luther has been trying to buy out Wayne Enterprise. My signature on this paper will relieve you of all the burden of managing Wayne Enterprise and make its reclusive owner even richer, allowing him even more freedom to do what he does best. Hide behind the walls of his private castle and contemplate his assets. Well, I shall continue to do what I do best. Run an empire. In other words, you'll own Gotham the way you own Metropolis. Sorry, Luther, but that's not going to happen. Who the devil are you? This, sir, is Mr. Bruce Wayne. Wayne? You can't be Wayne. Oh, but I am. And I regret to inform you, Mr. Luther, that I never gave my permission for this buyout to go through. Brusky, Fillmore, deal with this now. Mr. Wayne, please, you can't just come strolling in here and upset a Whatever I can do, actually, I can do whatever I want. I know that till now I've kept out of these business affairs, as well you should, but times have changed. I've changed, and I intend to be very actively involved with the day-to-day working of my father's company from now on. So with all due respect to Mr. Lucer and his staff, I'm afraid this meeting is canceled. Oh, and one more thing, Brodsky, Fillmore, your firm services will no longer be required. Good day, gentlemen. Now, wait one damn minute. I moved my corporate seat to this rat hole of a city so that I could oversee my interests here. And if you think Lex Luthor is going to let some gutless recluse crawl out of his hole and, Mr. Luthor, I read with great compassion about the explosion at your chemical factory last year. How you almost died, kept yourself hidden away for months. How finally you emerged from your seclusion and resumed your life in the world. I truly respect your courage. I hope you can respect mine. And we then see that Luther and not Luther, Lois and Perry White were hired over to the Gazette, the Gotham Gazette. And as soon as he meets Lois, he acts a bit of the fool, but I think this is sincere. Lois, the Daily Planet's loss at the Gotham Gazette's gay oof. Well, better get back to work. Got a newspaper to put out. And that's how I met my new boss. All of these narrations are Lois's.
Oh,
I studied
I
Lucifer.
should have gotten that.
I knew that despite the face he put on for the public, the charity work, the photo ops with prominent politicians, he was a man with no respect for the law. He worshipped power and used any means at his disposal to get it. Wayne knew it too, and he had no intention of letting Lex do to Gotham what he already done to Metropolis. And that's how I met my new boss. I expected Gotham's world famous recluse to be many things: mysterious, withdrawn, moody, but a shy, stuttering klutz, and an adorable one at that. I was charmed and disappointed at the same time. But in the weeks that followed, I watched Wayne at work, and as a publisher, there was nothing cute about him. He was idealistic, passionate, and damn talented. I had been sure about coming over to the Gazette. A part of me felt like I was selling out for the big bucks. But Bruce Wayne's determination to use his newspaper to change its city changed my mind. Besides, the planet was doomed the day LexCorp bought it and Perry was canned, and I had no intention of staying aboard a sinking ship. Lois, dear, what a charming coincidence. Coincidence, Lex? You don't leave your visit to the bathroom to chance. What do you want? Why, simply to offer a beautiful maiden a ride. How could a girl refuse such a chivalrous offer? When I was first pondering the Gazette's offer, the fact that Luther set up camp in Gotham was a prime consideration. After years of dodging him in Metropolis, tracking garbage to his front door, and watching him walk away smelling like a rose, I wanted to nail the sucker once and for all. I wasn't alone. It's been a while, Lex. The mayor's inaugural, I think. That was around the time the Planet ran that despicable article about me. Really, Lois, the very suggestion I might have killed my parents. What bothered you, Lex? What I wrote, or the fact that you lost the libel suit? Lois, you tarnished my good name, so you bought the paper just to protect your reputation? That's all in the past, my dear. I'm a different person since the accident. A man changes when he's faced death. The chemicals, the flames, it was horrible. I have to admit I'm intrigued. After the explosion at your plant, you kept yourself well hidden. Even here in Gotham, you've only shown your face a half dozen times. So why the sudden interest in me? When I say it's true, Lois. I've changed more than you can imagine. But the one thing that hasn't changed is my attraction to you. It's fate that's brought us both to Gotham, and it's fate that's pulling us together. Quit your job at the Gazette. Come work for me, and don't you ever put your hands on me. So
Oh, I
be it.
thought you spit on him.
Oh, slap. I will have you. You and this city both. Very soon. I believe this is where you get off. It's only 50 or so blocks to your apartment. Enjoy the walk, jerk. Nice legs. And the rest of you not bad either. Oh boy, but yeah, she's about ready to be attacked, but then, well, Batman shows up and takes them all out. I could kill you, you know. One finger right through your head, splatters your brain across the street. Please, oh please don't kill me, God, please don't. Don't worry, scum. You're not worth it. Let me help you. Get the hell away from me! He stood there for a moment just before he flew off. All the power, all the rage seemed to drain out of him. He was more like a child, rebuked, repented, desperate to explain himself, yet unable to find the words. but the moment passed, and so did he. Is that what we've come to? Has our world become so twisted, so violent that this is the kind of hero we produce? If it has, then God help us. God help the Batman most of all. Lois? Bruce, what are you doing here? I like this time of night. Seems to get my best work done before the sun comes up. How about you? So I told him about Lucifer, about the Batman, about my horror and disgust. But he saved you. If you've seen him, his utter disregard for human life. A man like that with such power could do so much better and to better the world instead of adding to its pain. You think so? Look at you. Me? Your idealism, your dedication, the way you use your wealth for the okay, that's a little rushed. Weeks passed, but then it turned out Luther became the Joker.
uh,
What do you want? Remember when I told you the explosion had made me a new man? Well, my dear, the time has come to show you just how new I am! Luther! And what is this? What do you think you're? Lex Luthor is dead, you jackass! He died in a flood of chemicals and flame! He suffered, he burned, and he was reborn as the Joker! Bruce! Bruce, admit it, it's me you love. You were just dallying with that walking loaf of white bread to make me jealous. You sick son of a... Now, Lois, watch your language. After all, you're a role model for little girls all over America. Let go of me. Afraid not. You see, I'm late for a very important date. Shall we go? Yes, I think we shall. Like my little flying machine, darling? I mean, why should Batman have all the fun? Lex, what's happened to you? Compassion, though, as for a reporter's curiosity. Or a reporter's curiosity. Either way, I suppose there's no harm in telling you. My little mishap at the chemical factory was just a tad worse than the press releases indicated. Truth is, I was reduced to a mass of burned, scarred flesh. My doctors labored night and day, but the best they could do was, well, you can see for yourself. I was so depressed, lost interest in my business, money, power. It all meant nothing to me. For months, I sat around like a lump, eating too much and watching endless hours of television. Believe me, there's just so much Wheel of Fortune a man could take. Anyway, as time passed, I began to understand what happened. See it as a new light, not as an ending, but a beginning. You know better than most how long I've worn an uncomfortable mask of respectability, while my true self hid in the shadows, manipulating and maneuvering. Not anymore! You see, I'm ready at long last to bring my darkness out into the world for everyone to see. And Gotham is just the place for my coming out party, don't you think? I mean, Metropolis is too shiny and clean, too decent and kind. But here, even the buildings reflect the rot in the human soul. And this is my kind of town, Lois. Gotham will be my kingdom. And you, oh object of my midnight passion, will be my sweet queen. And by my side always, to reign over maggots and madness, disease and death. You're out of your mind, naturally, isn't? Let the woman go. Everyone? Face to face at last. You've been quite a thorn in my side, damming up my flow of arms and money, but happily you haven't done any permanent damage? I'm not done yet. I wouldn't waste your time on me when there's a revolution going on. They say you've got pretty good eyesight, my bat-headed friend. So take a look around. And basically, he armed a whole bunch of people to attack, doing everything they can to take over, to make it Joker and Jokerania. Like, why are you
so
doing this? Well, why not? I can hear them, hundreds of them, all across the city, suffering in agony because of you, you insufferable maggot. Guilty on both counts. I'm going to kill you, then rip your corpse to bloody pieces. Why, Batman, oh boy, I do believe you're as far gone as I am. Am I correct in that assumption? Yes! No. I think I surprised myself as much as I surprised him, but I knew to the bottom of my soul that I was right. Just as I knew there was every possibility that before the long night was over. So, where is it we're going? Tahiti? Monte Carlo? Bombay? You're going to jail. I'm going to save my city. Gotham might have herself a real hero after all. I've watched the news footage of that night too many times. It amazes me, like watching a cocoon opening or a baby being born. For so many years, he'd hidden his pain, denying the wounded little boy who'd watched traumatized and helpless while his parents were murdered. That's who the Batman was, a child in a Halloween costume playing out a lifetime of guilt and anger. and his vision was as narrow as a child's focus on one goal: punishing the bad man who'd taken his mother and father away. By the time it finally come for him to realize that, in scaling down his vision, he'd scaled down his soul. What you did tonight, it was different. Oh, and I got, oh yeah, not hate, not vindictiveness, not wasting your gifts on terror and brutality. With your power, there's so much you can do. Instead of flexing your muscles, stooping to the level of the very people you're trying to stop, you can rise above all that. Stand as an example, a symbol of hope. I don't have it in me to do that. Be that. The Batman doesn't, but Bruce Wayne does. When did I realize it? Maybe not till that moment, or maybe I knew all along. Does it really matter? What's important is that he understood. He believed in himself, in the man of decency and high ideals that I fell in love with, and who loved me with all his heart. Sometimes I think about how different it could have turned out. How something as simple as a shifting wind current might have carried that rocket anywhere in the world. It might have been a Zulu chieftain that found him in a fiery crater, or a Chinese peasant. Why not some fascist dictator? Or a Kansas farmer? Scenario after scenario unreels in my mind, and I panic at the mere thought that I might have never known him, that our troubled world might have been denied our greatest hero. Inevitably, I laughed and pushed my foolish fantasies aside, secure in the knowledge that there's only one way it could have happened, only one series of events that could have given us Superman.
You're
What did you
giving
think of that? Way better?
much, much better. It actually felt really organized.
It did, and I mean, you had Lex Joker, but it worked.
It did. I was like, okay, I see what you're doing. I'm liking this.
And that I think DeMatteis knew better how to condense this, use the condensing better than Barr did. Barr did not know what to do with such a short page count, but DeMatteis knew you got to cram all you can into these pages if you want to tell this type of story.
Exactly.
So,
Snowflake.
but what did you think about how Superman was, or Batman, Bruce Wayne was in this? Did you feel bad for him?
Yeah, I did. But I don't know if it was because of the story or because I'm like, oh, my boy's Superman. And then seeing him act like Bruce Wayne kind of almost hurt my
But yet
soul a
different.
little
But yet he
bit.
was still different from, very different from Bruce still.
Yes, yes.
You know what I mean? I mean, the fact that he cried and that you had, now, if you also, this was more of a Tim Burton Gotham. Did you know that, the Gothingness and how far gone it was?
Hmm.
And what do you think about how Lois was handled in this? I thought she was handled very well, being the narrator and all.
Yeah, I was like, oh, of course she would be the narrator. That fits.
And also, what did you think about, well, how Batman was handled in this? Very brutal.
Very brutal. I like that they can mostly just do a lot of stuff because they can just shoot him or hurt him any way they can and he just won't get hurt.
Yep. And also, did you notice that we never had Lex do something like find out kryptonite? He never did anything to hurt Batman. He did, and I think because he was too far gone to even consider that. But the fact that he was ready to attack the city like that,
Hmm.
I think the way Lex was handled was very interesting. How this is basically a Lex with all his money and resources and his mind. But what if he went insane like the Joker? He wouldn't do exactly what the Joker did. This would be a Lex who basically felt like, why not?
I was so surprised to see him fat that he reminded me of
He used to be fat. He used to be fat.
who's that guy from Spider-Man?
Kingpin.
Kingpin.
Yeah, but again, no, this was just so well done. This is a 10, isn't it?
This is a 10.
So yeah, that's all we got in this one. We can see you all in the next one. Take care.
Bye.